and the furniture and fixture plan. And I want to talk about not only those items that should appear in all these drawings, but also the process on how to create these drawings, okay? There is a specific process I want you to know. We're going to start by doing the as-built, then the demolition, and from those two drawings, we'll then start your partition plan. And from your partition plan, we're going to do the furniture and fixture plan. Next week, we're going to carry on from that, again, from that partition plan, we'll carry on to a ceiling plan, a power communication plan. We'll create some section drawings as well as some wall elevations. We'll do some details and millwork. And lastly, schedules and legends. Now, schedules and legends, we will be doing, chances are we'll probably won't have a separate page for that. Probably we'll put them on the page that they should be on. So today we will cover schedules and legends today on our various drawings. So again, please open up, sorry, typo there, week 6 lecture file. Alright, so as mentioned last week, we took a look at setting up our phasing, okay? And the two phases that are defaulted in Revit are the existing phase and the new construction phase. What I'd like to add now is the demolition phase, okay? So again, let's go ahead and open up this drawing right here. Alright, so this drawing here, if I look at it on the main floor, okay, so let's go to our main floor level. Okay, it's just a small medical clinic that perhaps we wish to revise into an apartment complex. Okay. All right, so the first thing is let's go ahead and take a look at the different phases that exist currently in this drawing. Let's go to the architecture tab, or sorry, the manage tab, and then in the phasing panel, click on phases. And when you click on phases, as I mentioned before, the two default phases are existing and new construction. So right after the existing phase, which is your as-built, I'd like to create a demolition. So let's go ahead and click onto the button after. So after the existing, there you go. Let's go ahead and rename it. We'll call it demolition. There you go. And again, you can see new construction. Now remember, new construction can also be divided up into numerous phases, right? We could have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of new construction. Okay, but we're just going to do that, all three, existing, demolition, and new construction. Let's now click OK. Now, the next thing I want to make sure you do, okay, is that this is our as-built drawing here. This is our as-built. Can we label this as as-built? So let's go main floor dash, okay, as-built. Okay, this is our existing items. All right. Once you type as-built, it will ask you, do you wish to rename your level? Please say no here. We don't want the word as-built in our drawing. All right. So this is going to be your as-built. Now, in order for this to be your as-built, all the elements must be on the existing phase. Okay, now I asked you in your assignment to make sure before you start your drawing to implement the existing phase to make sure that all your items are on it. But you may not have done that, you may have forgotten to do that. So I just want to show you how to take items, because by default, all your items are in the new construction phase, okay? When you start a new file, you are starting on the new construction phase. So if you did not change it, okay, chances are some of your items are on that new construction. So, if you notice this file here, if you select any entity and scroll down in your properties panel, okay, so scroll all the way down, you can see that all these entities are on the new construction phase, okay? So I'm under the assumption that perhaps you forgot to change your existing or forgot to change your phase when you created your existing. So I just really want to show you now how to convert items from new construction to existing. Now, obviously, it's very easy to just select one item and then change its phase created to existing, okay? That's an easy task. But what if you did the whole drawing, okay, and then you realize that you did not, like in this case, you did not change the phasing? All right. You'll notice that items that are not a model, In other words, all your annotated objects do not have a phasing, okay? So, for instance, click onto your grid level, or your grid, okay, and you can see there's no phasing option here. Or click onto your room tag, and again, you'll see there are no phasing here. So when I try to select all my items, okay, so go ahead and try to select all your items here, like that, you'll notice that it's not going to give me the option to change your phasing because I'm selecting items that do not have a phasing. All right, like again, the room labels, okay, perhaps there's a room separator line or something like that, okay, that is not part of the model. So there are two ways to solve this. The first way is to turn off all your annotative objects. And to do that, we're going to go under Visibility Graphics. Go to Visibility Graphics and click Edit. And go to the tab that's entitled Annotation Category. So all of these items under Annotation Category, even though the majority of them we haven't used, I'm going to turn them off. So click on Select All, so right here, click onto the All button, and turn any one of them off. Okay? Now click Apply. You can see the majority of items have now been turned off. Okay, go back into your drawing now. Whoop, what did I do? Try that again. Okay, so all. There we go. Apply it. Okay, now click OK. Alright, so you can now see, okay, that we have. Now, when I try to select it again, you can still see I still have an issue here. I still have an issue. The issue are these little X's that appear in your rooms. These are your room tags. More specifically, this is what calculates your area. Okay, so these are your room area tags. And again, these are annotative objects. Okay, so I have to go under Visibility Graphics again, click Edit. And now, in the model category, not in annotate, because I already turned all that off. In the model category, can you scroll down and look for rooms right there? Okay, so you can still see in the model category, even though it's not necessarily a model, okay, rooms are still an annotative object that needs to be turned off. So turn that off, apply it, click OK. Now you can see that area tag is no longer in there. Okay, now when I select all the items, I should now have the ability right here, okay, to change its phasing. So now go ahead and click on Existing. Okay, so that's what I'd like you to do before you start anything today. Just double check that all your items are on the existing phase. Okay, also, can we make sure that we are a hidden line, okay, and level of detail fine. All right, now, it still looks a little weird, right? I don't see a lot of, even though I set my detail level to fine, I don't see a lot of detail on here, okay? Here's why. All right, now that we set all our items to existing, right here is now we have to change our filter and our fades, okay? Remember, this is our as-built drawing. It's not our new construction drawing. So this is where the change needs to be. So on an as-built drawing, the phase filter and phase should read as follows. Show all existing. All right. So there you go. There's our as-built drawing. Okay. Now we could turn on all our annotative objects again now. So let's go back to Visibility Graphics, Edit. We'll turn all our stuff back on. So we turned off rooms. So let's turn the rooms back on. Apply it. Okay. We could also go back to our annotation category. Okay. Select all. Turn them all back on and apply it. Now, just a few things in regards to the as-built drawing that's missing in this file. Okay, when you do your as-built drawing, obviously we have our dimensioning. I asked you to dimension the building, so that's something I didn't put in this drawing, but obviously you should have that on your as-built drawing. All right, so let's create our first sheet with this drawing on it. This again is our as-built. Okay, so let's please go to our sheet command. So let's go under view. Yes.
So on the existing drawing, the room names won't show up, right? Like they won't.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't show up. Let me look at that on the break, why they're not showing up, because we did turn them on. But I'm wondering why they're not showing up. Let me figure that out. Okay, they should be there. We need to have them there. So I'll figure out why they're not showing up. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a sheet here. Okay, so let's go under view, sheet. And let's say we just choose, let's choose this one, just the D2234. Obviously, in your assignment, you'll load in the sheet that we created last week. Okay, but just for this exercise here, let's just go ahead and put that D2234 horizontal. Okay, there it is, okay? We won't change anything about the title block again. For your assignment, use the one that we created last week with the logo in it. Okay, and let's now go ahead and drag and drop. First of all, let's rename this. Okay, this is going to be your A1 page. So zoom in. Okay, so capital letter A1. This will be our as-built. Lecture. Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and put in our as-built drawing onto this page. Okay, so drag it and drop it. There it is. Now, probably that scale is a little bit too small. Okay, double click onto it, and let's change the scale of it. Let's go a little bit larger, maybe quarter inch. Quarter inch is too big. Maybe we go 3/16. Okay, that's a good size. Okay. So double click into it, change it to 3/16. Double click out of it, and then we'll just center it. Okay, on our page. On our main floor, or on our as-built, can we go to our as-built? Can we just put one dimensioning down, just so that I can show you what happens to dimensioning going forward? Okay, so just put any dimension down. Doesn't matter to me what dimension you put. So maybe I'll put that one. Maybe I'll put this one. All right, so just put any two dimensions down, perhaps, so we can see what happens. Okay, so there's my sheet A1. I just have to pick it to refresh it. Alright, so there's our as-built. Now, the next step I want to do is I want to copy this as-built drawing to create our demolition plan. So again, I want to copy this as-built to create our demolition. So let's go to our as-built drawing here. Again, let's make sure 3/16, level of detail fine, and our visual style at hidden line. All right, now let's do a right click on this main floor as-built, right click, and then there is a duplicate view option. Now, there are 3 duplicate view options that I could choose from. One is duplicate, and when you do duplicate, it only duplicates the modeled items, okay? It will not duplicate modeled items plus levels and grids, okay? But it will not duplicate any text, any dimensioning, any room labels, any other type of annotative object. It will not duplicate. Duplicate with detail will do the modeled items as well as all your annotative objects. And lastly, duplicate as a dependent. What that does is those two drawings that you duplicate will always be the same. So if you make changes to one, it'll automatically make changes to the other one, not only modeled wise, but also annotative wise, okay? So for this one here, I only want to do a duplicate, okay? I don't want the dimensioning to appear on my demolition plan, okay? So click on duplicate. You'll now see a duplicate has created, and again, you'll see that the dimensioning is not here, okay? Let's go ahead and rename this. Okay, this is going to be our demolition plan. All right. Now, for this demolition plan, what I want to do is I want to gut out the inside. So all the elements on the inside, I want to demolish. Walls, doors, okay, all of those on the inside. So here's what I'd like you to do. Hold down the control key and select all the interior walls. Okay, so again, hold down the control key, select all the interior walls. Now, you do not need to select the doors. The doors will automatically be demolished when the walls are demolished, because obviously you can't have a freestanding door, okay? So once I've selected all the items that need to be demolished, I simply go down to our properties panel, and right here it says phase demolished. Okay, currently it says none because we haven't assigned anything for it to be demolished. So now let's go ahead under none and say I'd like that to be demolished in the obvious demolition phase. Okay, so please select that. Okay, now it's gonna delete some rooms, that's okay. Okay. Alright, so there you go. We've just selected those walls that have been demolished. Now, for a demolition drawing to take place, we need to, just like we did for the as-built, okay, we need to show the demolition items, okay? So, here's what we're gonna show. So, under phase filter, we're gonna click on there, we're gonna click on show previous plus demo. So that means show existing, because existing is the previous phase from demo. So show existing plus demolition. Okay? Now, in your phase, please choose demolition. So there we go. There's our demolition drawing. Okay? And you'll see that all our items, again, these are the important factors. I have them posted on my page here, on my, that's as-built, that's what you need to show for as-built, show all existing. In a demolition plan, show previous plus demo, okay, and your phase is demo. And then lastly, when we get to it, show complete, new construction, when we start our new construction phase. Okay? Now, what part? Have you selected your walls and put them on the demolition? Okay. So now all you have to do is go here and make it show previous plus demo and demolition phase. All right. All right. Now, in a demolition drawing. Okay, so here's an example here of a demolition drawing. Obviously, you can see here, now we have our dashed lines indicating the items are being demolished. And look, and you can even see, as I told you, look at the doors, right? The doors are being demolished. We didn't pick those. They're automatically demolished because, again, you can't have a freestanding door without any walls, okay? So those are all, and then you'll notice that there are some notes. Okay, there are some notes on the drawing here that need to be implemented. Okay, look at the example that I give you at the very end. Okay, your demolition plan may have notes that are similar to this one. Okay, so right there. Okay, there's our demolition plan. Okay, all exterior walls and doors to remain unchanged. Remove and salvage any items. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So there's a bunch of different notes here. Remove flooring and repair to accept new flooring. So what we're trying to do here is, A, we're demolishing all the items that need to be removed. And then secondly, we need to put some notes in there to clarify that you want the place fixed, okay, or repaired to take on the new construction at a later time. Okay? So I say here in your demolition plan, add some leaders with a few general notes, add a demolition legend, okay? Decorative columns should also be removed. So those columns that you put in originally on the as-built, they're going to be removed, and your new construction, those are your columns that you put in last week under structure, those are going to be the new columns, okay? So those decorative columns will be removed, and all interior items are also to be removed. Now, we need to create this legend here, okay? So on the legend, I simply want to show the items that are going to be removed and the items that are going to not be removed, okay? So let's create a legend here, okay? So, to create a legend, okay, and we're going to have a legend on every single one of our drawings. So we're going to do this 4 times today, okay? Let's go under View, and then there's the legend command right here, okay? Click on legend. All right, click onto the legend command, and this one is going to be our demolition legend. Alright, now it says scale 1/4 inch. Leave it at 1/4 inch. We'll take a look at what it looks like when we bring it into the sheet. That could always be revised. Okay? So click OK. Alright, now what is a legend? A legend is basically a blank sheet of paper. Okay, that's what you have here. You'll notice nothing is on here. It's totally blank. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to create this. And when we create this, it's not a table, it's actually a rectangle with some lines in it. I put some text in it, and I drew these items. Okay, I drew these items. Okay? So let's take a look. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a sample of those walls, okay? Dashed lines, okay? So let me show you how to draw typical dashed lines. To draw dashed lines, we're going to go under our Annotate tab. And we're going to go under our Detail Line command. Okay, so there's our line command. Now, in order to create dashed lines, we need to go into our line properties here, okay? And let's choose our hidden lines. Right here. All right, so now go ahead and just draw a couple dash lines. That. Okay, something like that. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put some text on here. Okay, so let's now go to our text command. We're going to use let's use the 3/32 inch text. So it's a little bit smaller than 1/8, so that should be okay. All right, no leaders on this. Okay, it's just our basic text. Okay, and let's left justify. All right, so just beside this, okay, let's put our text down. Okay, we can move that. If it's not in the exact spot you want it, we can move it later. Okay, so just put items to be removed. Okay, go ahead and close that. All right, and then there's my press escape. Okay, and then select it, and there's my move. that's it. Maybe that's all I want, okay, in my room label or my room legend. Okay, let's just put a box around it. So go detailed, line, and now I want a medium thickness line. Okay, so again, go to detail line, medium thickness of your line, and let's use our rectangle tool. Okay, so I'll just put a rectangle around there. I always like to put a rectangle around your legends so that they're not, okay, they're not interfering with other items, or they don't look like it's part of the drawings.
Annotation detail line.
So there we go. Now under legends, we've got a demolition legend. Now, let's go back to our demolition plan, okay? And let's just put a general note on something, okay? Why don't we put it on the doors? Doors to be removed and salvaged, okay? Doors to be removed and salvaged. All right, so let's put some text in here. So let's go to our text command. Now this time we're gonna use a leader here, okay? Oh, very important. Press escape. Before we put in any text, we must make sure that we are confident with our annotation scale, okay? Because remember, our annotation scale is going to control the size of our text in this drawing, okay? So we already, let's go and create a new sheet. We'll drag and drop the demolition plan just to guarantee. We already know it's going to be 3/16 because the as-built fit there, but let's just assume that we don't. So let's go ahead. Let's create a new page. View, sheet. Okay, again, we'll use that D2234. Okay, so this one is going to be our demolition plan. And let's drag and drop our demolition plan, okay, into our page. Okay, and again, we already worked this out through our as-built drawing. Okay, so we already know that 3/16 is the scale that we want to use. Okay, so that's the thing I just wanted to confirm before we put in any notes. Okay, now that we've confirmed that, let's go back into our demolition plan and let's go ahead and label one of these doors. Okay, so again, let's go under our annotate tab. Let's go into our text command. Now this time I want a leader. Okay, I want a 2-point leader, a 2-segment leader. We're going to middle justify it or center justify it, and we'll do a left justify on the text start. All right, let's put an arrow on any one door. There's my leader. I'll draw a landing. There's my text. Okay, and then just put existing doors to be salvaged. Okay, removed and salvaged. So, existing doors to be removed and salvaged. All right, I'll close that up. Go. Okay, so now that's fine. That should appear now in my demolition plan. Sometimes you have to refresh by just picking your viewport. Okay, and your items will reappear if it's not there. All right, and then lastly, let's go ahead and put our demolition legend on here. So there's our demolition legend. Okay, I'll just place it somewhere near the bottom here. Now, one thing I do want to show you is I don't really need a drawing label for a legend, okay? You can have one, but I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now, you can't just delete it, okay? You can't just delete it. So we have to change our viewport style for this, okay? So select that viewport. You'll notice it's called viewport 1. Let's go ahead and edit it, duplicate it, and I'm going to call this viewport with no drawing label. Okay? No label, or just call it no label. Okay? Viewport with no label. Click OK. All right, and right here, show title. Okay? Please say no. Okay? So there we go. So anytime we put a legend in, okay, we're going to treat it as a viewport with no legend. Okay, so that we don't have that. Okay, so there you go. There's your typical, demolition plan. Again, yours is going to look like this. So you're going to incorporate all these notes that I put on here. You're going to create this, okay, as well as these notes down here. Okay, so yours will look exactly like that. All right, next is our partition plan. Okay, our partition plan. And there's quite a few elements that we need to add to our partition plan. And I've written a checklist here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, first of all, we're going to put in our new walls and doors. We're going to tag the walls. We're going to create a wall legend. We're going to tag the doors. We're going to create both a door legend and a door schedule. We'll dimension the walls, and then we're going to add room tags. Okay, so these are all the checklists you need to have for your partition plan. Okay, so we're going to mimic the same thing here. Now, to create the start point for our partition plan, I want you to go to the demolition plan. Okay. And I want you to now to make a copy of this. So let's go right click, duplicate view, duplicate. Again, I don't want all the notes that appear on a demolition plan to appear on my partition plan, so duplicate. Okay, so there it is. And we're going to rename this one. This is going to be our partition plan. All right, now, before we can continue, here's the phasing for a new construction drawing. Okay, this is again our phasing for our partition plan. So, go under, press escape, make sure you have nothing selected, go into your properties panel at the very bottom. We should have show complete, new construction. All right. And you see what happened there? Okay, what do we have left there? Our as-built that are not going to be demolished. So all our demolition items are now removed from here. Now we've got a clean slate, okay, to do our partition plan. All right. Everybody good? All right. Now we can start drawing our walls. Okay. Now, just a quick note about walls when you start adding walls to your drawings. Okay. What walls should you choose? What type of assembly should you choose when creating your interior walls? And how do you know what to use, okay? In order to know what type of wall, you've got to refer to the Ontario Building Code, the National Building Code, even the Fire Code, okay? And your National Building Code, when I look at hotels, your Ontario Building Code states that a hotel is a Group C occupancy. Okay, you can see it there. Group C occupancy is a hotel. Okay, now, when you look at the National Building Code, it's going to tell you for a hotel, it's going to say that guest suites are required to be fire separated from adjacent rooms and areas on the same floor area by a fire separation of 30-minute fire resistance rating or equivalent. Okay, corridors also need to have a 30-minute fire rating. Laundry rooms or storage rooms need to have a 45-minute fire rating, okay? So again, if you have a laundry room or a storage room, okay, the walls that are enclosing that space must have a 45 degree. Okay, now, all our interior walls in Revit, even just the basic one has a 1 hour fire rating. Okay, so all our interior walls in Revit that we create or that are created already have a 1 hour fire rating. So any wall really in Revit is sufficient. Okay, so what do we look for in regards to it? Not the fire rating, because obviously again, all our walls are 1 hour, so they're sufficient. What do we look for? Okay, we look for sound transmission. Okay, sound is an important issue when dealing with hotel suites. We want to make sure that it's a soundproof wall or as close as we can. Okay, so for corridor walls, okay, so walls that are enclosing your hotel unit, you want to have a very large sound transmission class. So you can see in this example here, the sound transmission class for this particular wall assembly is 61, which is very high, okay? And then this one here is 35. So what's the difference? If you take a look at the wall assembly, it actually has acoustic barriers within the wall. So it's got an acoustic barrier, and then it also has double gypsum wallboard on both sides. Okay, so that's the big thing here. Not only the acoustic barrier inside, but also the double gypsum wallboard, 5/8 inch on both sides. Okay, whereas this one is used within your suite. So if you've got an enclosed bedroom in your suite, you can use this one. Or if you've got a bathroom or closet in your suite, you can use this one. And this one is a very basic wall. 4-inch stud, okay, 1/2-inch gypsum wallboard on both sides. Okay, very typical wall. Okay, so for this particular one, okay, let's go ahead on here. Okay, so these are the two wall types I want you to use on yours. Again, we'll use this for any corridor walls or any walls that your office walls, your laundry walls, all of those. Okay, and then these walls here are walls for the inside of each of your suites. Okay? Alright, so for this one here, what I want to do is I want to create two wall types here. I'm going to do a concrete demising wall, okay, between each of the suites. There are going to be 3 suites here, okay? So let's go ahead. Let's go into our architecture tab. Go into your wall command. And for this one here, for the demising wall, can you please choose, why don't we go with a 12-inch masonry wall? Okay, so a generic 12-inch masonry wall. Just reset constraints here. I don't know why that's saying that. Okay, so again, let's pick it again. So generic 12-inch masonry. All right, and then let's go ahead now. We'll just go wall center line, main floor, and let's make it go to the roof level. Okay, so let's go ahead. So maybe I'll put a demising wall right, doesn't matter exactly where. Okay, this is just to separate the three apartment units. Okay, so maybe I'll put this one on the end here. And again, doesn't matter exactly where you put it. Yeah.
One wall, the short, multiple rooms are in the same equal.
That's fine.
Delete the room, which is okay.
Sorry?
Delete the room.
Yeah, delete the room. Okay. Alright, so that's one wall type that we use. Now inside, we'll just concentrate on this one unit here. Let's put in some interior non-load bearing walls. So this is going to be our interior wall. So let's go wall. Okay. Let's just choose the 5.5-inch partition 1 hour fire rating. Okay. Again, reset constraint. I don't know why that's saying that. Okay. So let's go again, 5.5-inch partition wall. All right, so let's make this unconnected at a height of 8 feet. Okay, so these are non-load bearing, typical non-load bearing 8-foot high walls. All right, So I'm gonna design the inside. So maybe I'll put a wall, and again, it doesn't matter exactly where. Okay, maybe will be my kitchen area, something like that. Okay, maybe I'll put a wall here just for the front entrance area. Okay, maybe I'll put a wall all the way down this way. Okay, this will be where my bedrooms are. Maybe I'll put a wall here and another wall here. This is my bathroom in the middle here. So I'll put my bathroom there, bedrooms here. Okay, maybe this will be my dining room, my living room. Okay, so maybe that's it. Okay, minimal walls here. And then I want to put my doors in. Okay, so go to your door command. Okay, we'll just use a smaller door. Why don't we use a, let's go with a 34 by 84. Okay, 34 by 84 single flush. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter to me exactly where you put them. And then maybe we'll put some room separator lines, right? I'm going to separate this area here. This will be my kitchen area. Okay. Maybe I'll put another room separator line here. This is going to be my front entrance. Maybe I'll put one more room separator line right here. This will be my separation between my dining room and my living room. And then obviously we could add some room labels here later, okay? We won't put one in just to save time, but you all know how to put in a room label. Okay. So there's my design right there. All right. Next. The first thing we're going to do to add to this is we're going to put in some wall tags. Okay, we're going to tag all our walls. Okay, now we don't want to see this. Interior design drawings are infamous for tagging and legends and schedules. That's all we do in most interior design drawings. We tag it, we schedule it, or we put a legend on it. Okay, because the last thing I want to see is I want to see the wall construction items, or what construction this wall is on a leader. Okay, I never want to see all of this information on a leader placed in the drawing. So what we do is we tag it, and then we create either a legend or a schedule, okay, that we place all the information on. Okay, so the first thing is we need to tag it. So please go under your annotate tab, and there are two options there. There's a tag all, and there's a tag by category. Okay? Let me show you tag all. Don't do this. Okay, I just want to show it because we're going to end up undoing this because I don't want to do it this way. But I want to show you this method. Okay? So I want to go tag all, and I'm going to tag all my walls. So right here, tag all my walls, and I click OK, and you can see all my walls have been tagged. Right? Two things I don't like about this. It's going to tag every single wall, whether it's joined or not. You can see this wall here and this wall here are joined, okay? But they put two tags on it, okay? And also, where they position the tags is really random, okay? It's very random where they'll put the tags. So I don't like to do a tag all for walls. I like to put my tags in where I want them to be put in. So I'm going to undo that. Now, we will be doing a tag all for things like windows, for doors, for furniture. We'll do a tag all for that. But for this example here, let's do a tag by category. So there, we're going to individually tag our walls. Okay, so click on tag by category, and you'll see that when you place your mouse on any wall, now we can place it wherever we wish to place it. Alright, so I'm going to tag this wall, and I'm only going to tag this wall once. Okay, I'm not going to tag this because it's an adjoining wall. The only time I would tag this wall is if it is a different construction. Okay, if it was a different construction, then by all means I tag it. Okay, I'm going to tag this wall. I'll tag this wall. I'll tag this wall, as well as this wall. Okay, now I'm not going to tag this whole wall. I've already tagged it up here. I don't need to tag it down here. This is a continuous wall right along here. Okay, I'll tag this wall. This is a new wall type, or different wall. I'll tag that wall. And I'll tag some of the exterior walls as well. And again, I'll only put one tag on each side. Okay, again, I'll put a different tag if it is a different wall type. Okay. So there we go. And you can see that I now have the ability to place these tags wherever I want to put them. Now, you will notice that all my tags don't have any values in them, okay? They're just like attributes. We need to put in the values, okay? So, for your exterior wall, zoom into one of your exterior walls, pick it, and then pick the question mark, and let's put capital letters W1, okay? So this will be wall 1, press enter. Now, it's gonna say, do you want all the other walls that are the same to also be labeled W1? And let's say yes. So now you should see all your exterior walls that are the same construction are all labeled W1. Alright, now this devising wall, let's label that one W2. And again, say yes. And then all your demising walls are both now W2. And then lastly, all these interior walls, let's label them W3. Again, there you go. Okay, all your interior walls are now tagged with a W3. Should probably do a quick save right now because we haven't saved this in a while. So let's go save as project. Okay, I'm gonna rename mine, but you can leave. You can name it whatever you want, or you could just override your existing. Now, there's our tags. Now, along with our tags, we must have a legend. Okay, now let me show you some examples of legends that you would find in a typical partition plan. Okay, so right here. Okay, so this wall legend will show what the wall assembly is comprised of. So this one here, you can see it's a written format. There's the tag, okay, and then there's what the wall construction is. Okay, these are all the various layers within my wall. Okay, or we could do one graphically. Okay, so there's my tag, and then we could show it graphically and also add some description to it. I want to show it graphically. Okay, I'd like to show mine graphically. This one here is a text one, very simple. We can create a legend and just type in your text and then put your border around it and put your lines in it. That's a simple one. But let me show you how to do it graphically. Okay. All right, let's create a wall legend. Okay, to create a legend, again, let's go under the View tab. Let's click on Legend. Legend. Okay, and this is going to be our wall legend. Again, we'll leave it the same scale. Again, that scale could be altered later if you wish, but let's click OK. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show some samples of the 3 walls that are in my model. Okay, so there was W1, W2, and W3. Okay, let's start with W1, which was our exterior wall. To add samples of items in your project, here's how you do it. go under the Annotate tab. In the Details panel, under the Component command, click on Legend Component. Alright, now, look over here. Look at this list in our options bar. This shows you every single family and element that you have currently in your model. Okay? Or loaded. Okay? Some of these you may not have used, but they're all loaded in your model. Okay? So, first one. I named the exterior wall ASET exterior brick on 2x6 wood stud. So that's our exterior wall right there. So can you please select it? There it is. And you can see right here, you could either view it in floor plan view or in section view. I want to view it in a section view. And there's also these sample size, okay, 3-foot sample of this wall. So that's sufficient. Okay, I'll put it in. Okay, press escape. Okay, set your detail level to 5. And there's our wall right there. Now, what I want to do is I want to label all the layers of this wall, starting with the brick, and then the plywood, and then the airspace, and then the wood stud, and gypsum wallboard on inside. So one way to do it, let's all go. Okay, we already know this. Text. We'll use 3/32 of an inch. We'll use these the 2-segment leader. Okay, and go ahead and put it in. Okay, so I'll start by labeling the brick on the outside. There's my leader. There's my landing. Okay, I'll just put I don't know, common brick. I'll close that. There we go. And then the next one would be my airspace. So again, this way, airspace. And I can put numbers in there. I could have put, 3-inch common brick, 1/2-inch airspace, blah, blah, blah. I could get a little more detailed with if I wish. Now, you might say, well, Sancho, why do I gotta label it like this? I mean, doesn't Revit already know what material that is? Isn't there a way that Revit can label this drawing for me without me having to type that all in? Guess what? Yes. Okay. So let's delete this. Okay. This is just one way of doing it, but again, it's not the most efficient way. Okay. Watch this. You'll love this. It's called, go under your Annotate tab. In your Tag panel, it's called Material Tag. Click on Material Tag, and then place the rest. Okay, look, there's masonry brick, there's airspace, there's, where's your plywood? It's like the plywood is not showing there. It's okay, there's wood stud, okay, there's gypsum wallboard. Okay, so here's how you put it in. Okay, watch how you put it in, very important to control it. First of all, pick where you want the arrow to go. So that's your leader. That's the start of your leader. Secondly, where do you want your leader to end? Lastly, create your landing. Okay, so in other words, place your text. See that little landing at the front? There, that's how you control it. Okay, then I'll put the next one. Okay, the next one is the airspace. Again, I'll line it up. And then move my text, line up my text there. Okay, next one is, for some reason, I don't know why it's not capturing this. It should be my plywood sheathing. Okay, it's not letting me. So I'll just go over to the wood stud. Okay, then the next one is your gypsum wallboard. Now, it is missing an arrow, okay? Maybe I do want an arrow on the end of this material tag. So if you want an arrow at the end of your material tag, just simply select the leader and then right here, there's your material tag. Click on Edit Type, and right here is your arrowhead. Okay, so you can choose whatever arrowhead you want. Maybe I want an arrow filled, 15 degrees. All right, next, I'm going to put in here, I'll put in my other wall. Okay, so let's go again, let's go under Annotate, Detail, Legend, Component. The other wall we chose was a 12-inch masonry wall. So generic 12-inch masonry wall. Okay, let's put that one in. Okay, now, let me show you when we label this. Okay, go to your material tag, and you will see that it's got a question mark there. It's got a question mark. So this one here, for some reason, I can't tag the material. Here's why. Everyone press escape. Okay, remember this is our W2 wall. Go into your partition plan and choose that W2 wall, that demolition, that wall was the generic 12-inch masonry wall. Okay, go to Edit Type, go to Edit Structure, and then go into the material browser. Okay, so go in there. You can see it's using the concrete masonry unit. That's the material. Go into material browser. There it is, concrete masonry unit. That's the material that's used for this wall. Go under Identity, and it's right here. This is why nothing shows, because there's nothing in the description. There's nothing in the description. Okay, if I looked at my brick, okay, there's brick there. Remember the brick we used? Look, it said masonry brick there. It's in the description there. But for this particular item, there's nothing in the description. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to put concrete masonry unit. Copy and paste that into my description. And now click OK. Click OK. Click OK. Okay, now let's get back into our wall legend. And now try to tag it. There we go. Okay. So remember that it's under the description of the material is where you want where that is. Okay. Like for instance, if that airspace right there, if I went into, here's another way to get into it. Just go into your material manage. Go into your material browser. Okay, and I'm going to type in air. Okay, so there's my, I wonder what airspace it's using. There it is, airspace, okay? So if I wanted to go into airspace there it is, airspace, okay, but maybe I want to get a little more detailed, and I want to put, a 1/2 inch airspace. Okay, so whatever appears in the description, that's what's going to appear in the tag. Sometimes it's easier just to put the tag back in than it is to try to move it around so that it looks good, better. All right, and then one more. We had one more wall, okay, and then we'll take a little break. Okay, so let's go Annotate, Legend Component. We went into wall. We did the 5.5 inch partition wall. 5.5 inch interior, 5.5 inch partition wall. Put it down here. Okay, and then we'll simply label that. Again, material tag. Okay, so there should be, there's my gypsum wallboard. And you see how I'm doing the best I can to try to align them. Okay, align my leader. My metal stud. And one more on the other side. There's my other gypsum wallboard. Alright, I'm just gonna put text on it now, single text, okay? I'll use 1/4 inch here, because this one, I need to label this one W1. Okay, this one here will be W2. And this one here will be W3. Okay, again, I can move these around if I want after the fact. I can align them. Alright. And then lastly, I'm going to put a box, some dividing lines. So that again is under detail line. Okay, I'll use medium weight. Okay, so I'll put a box around it like this. Okay, maybe I'll put some dividing lines. Go. That is my wall legend. Alright, save your file. We'll restart at 12:14. Please take a 10-minute break.
先头转头。啊，对了，等我整上。
Take some of these items off. Alright, so please go to your view tab, create a sheet. Again, let's use that same 22 by 34. Drag and drop your partition plan onto it. Change the name. This is now our partition plan. And let's also drag and drop the wall legend now. And I'm going to remove the drawing label, so I'm just going to select this viewport, and this is view with no label. Alright. Next, on a partition plan, not only do we have to put in the new wall construction, but we also need to put in the new doors. So those are the main two elements in any partition plan, walls and doors, okay? So let's go back to our partition plan, main floor partition plan, and let's go ahead and tag all the doors. So let's go again, let's go to our annotate tab. Now this time we're gonna do a tag all. We're gonna tag all the doors at once. So click on tag all. There's my door tag. Click OK. And all your doors are tagged. And you'll notice all your doors have different numbers on it. Okay, but what if some of these doors are exactly the same? For instance, in our unit here, I've got these two doors right here. Okay, now these two doors are exactly the same. Okay, everything from the material that's being used to the hardware to the flip of the door or the hinge of the door. Even the paint is going to be the same. Okay, if any of those elements are different, we should make them unique. Okay, but let's assume that everything about this doors are the same. So I want to override one of these. Maybe this one here, I'm going to make this one 12 as well. So override that number and put 12. Okay, it's just going to give you a warning that this has been duplicated. That's fine. Okay, there's 12. And maybe this door right here, these two front doors here will also be the same. So I'm going to relabel this number 9 door. I'm going to relabel it as number 8. Now we've got to create two things for the door. We're going to create a door legend and a door schedule. Okay, so let me show you what both of those look like. All right, here's the door legend. Okay, a door legend is going to show me the plan view of the door as well as the elevation of the door. We can add general notes to that. We can add dimensioning to that door as well. Okay, so that's a door legend. And then we're also going to create a door schedule. Okay, so there's a typical door schedule. Okay, maybe it shows you the number of the door, the amount of doors, and then maybe the width and height of that door. Okay, so let's start with our door legend, something like this. Okay, so here we go. Let's go under our View tab, click on the Legend command. Okay, and this is going to be a door legend. Now, just like our walls, we can also choose the different views of our door. Okay, so in our wall legend, we are able to choose from our detail components. We are able to choose the wall and show it in section. So here, I'm going to do the same thing. So please go under Annotate, Detail, Legend component, and now I'm going to choose the doors that we use. Okay, the interior door that we use. So go to your door. Was the 34 by 84, was that single flush door that we used on the interior. Choose that. Okay, there it is in plan view. Put it down. Now, be under it, I want to show it in elevation, front elevation view. Here's my front elevation of that door. I'll align it with the center. Put it right there. Okay, so there's one door. Okay, next, I think the other door we did was a single flush 36 by 84. That's the exterior door. So again, I'll start it with my plan view. And then I'll finish it with my front view. Not very much different. Now I know there's another door. It's a raised panel door. That's in the other unit that we don't see. Okay, but it's a 36 by 84 single raised panel. Okay, so again, I'll show it in plan view. And then again, I'll show it in elevation. Alright. Let's escape. We could also add notes to this. Maybe I'll just want to put a couple dimensions on here. Go to Annotate, Align. Maybe I just want to put the height of the
Single
door.
flush 36×84.
Okay. Alright, maybe now I'll just put a rectangle around it. Some dividing lines. I'm putting all these are my headers. I haven't put the text in. Okay, but that's where I put the text in there. So maybe this one is the 1, 5, and 7 door. Maybe this one is the 3, 2, and 6 door. Okay, so I would end up putting those numbers in there. Okay. There's my door legend. I'm going to drag and drop that onto my partition plan. I'll make that a viewport with no legend or with no label. Now let me show you how to create the schedule for these doors. Okay, now we're going to put a schedule in. Okay, so to put in the schedule, let's go under the View tab. Just beside Legend is Schedule. All right, and we're going to create a door schedule. Click OK. And now we're going to choose the fields that we wish to place in this door schedule. So the first one is going to be called the mark. Okay, just mark. Mark is the number of the door. Okay, load that in. Okay, the next one is maybe the count. How many of those doors? Okay, so count. Load that in. Okay, maybe I want to do family and type. It'll tell me the type, family of the door, and the type of the door. Okay, load that. Okay. So those are, maybe I want to put, well, the height will already be in family and type. So the height and width would already be there. Okay, so maybe those are the three things I want to show. Okay, mark, count, and family and type. Go ahead and click OK. Alright, there we go. Now, very important. Do you notice that there are 2 number 8s and 2 number 12s? Okay, everyone see that? And of course, they're the same door, right? We made it so that they're the same door. Okay? But I don't want to see 8 twice. I want to see 8 and then the count of 2. Just like 12. I don't want to see 12 twice. I want to see 12 with the count of 2. Okay? So to do this, we got to sort it and group it. Okay? So right here, sorting and grouping. Please click on Edit. And by default, you'll see it'll itemize every instance down at the bottom. It'll say itemize every instance. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a different row for ones that are the same number. Okay, so let's turn that off. Also, let's sort it by mark. Okay, this number. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numeric order. Let's sort it by mark. Okay, click OK. There we go. So now you'll see number 8 has 2. Number 12 has 2. Okay. And that's what I want to see rather than showing 8 2 times. Now, at any time, you could also add to this door schedule. You can see right here, it's called Fields. Click onto that. You can see maybe I want to have a description at the end that I want to fill in. Okay, so go ahead and bring that in. Click OK. You can now see I have a description panel here, and I can go in there and type in my description if I wish to do so. Okay, but we won't fill it in right now. All right, so let's go ahead and put this. There's my schedule now. I've got a new schedule right here. Okay, let's go ahead and drag and drop that onto my partition plan. There's my door schedule. And again, you can see that I could change the width of the different boxes. Now, the last thing we need to implement into a partition plan is the wall locations. So we do now need to dimension our walls. Okay, now in a partition plan, the only thing you're dimensioning is wall locations. We don't dimension doors, okay, or any other entities in here, just wall locations, okay? So let's go back into our main floor partition plan, zoom into this unit here, and let's use some single stream dimensioning to capture both the vertical and horizontal wall locations, okay? So let's go. Let's go under our annotate, align. We're going to do individual referencing, and we're going to start at the face of a wall. Okay, so we're going to start at this face, and then we're going to travel this way. Okay, we're going to do a couple horizontal ones, okay? So, again, face, we'll start on the face here. And then I want to go center line. Okay, so start at that face, and then I want to go center line here, and then lastly face on that demising wall. Alright, there we go. I've got those two walls. Okay. Now I'll do these walls over here. Okay, now this one's already been located with that. The only thing I really need to locate is this wall here. Okay, so maybe I'll just do from let's say this wall here, this existing wall, okay, to the center of that wall. Okay, maybe I'll put that one dimension there. Okay, so there's all our vertical. We've captured all our vertical walls. Now let's do our horizontal walls. Okay, so again, align. I'll start on the outside face of this wall. Then I'll go center line, and then face again. Put my dimension there. And maybe move my wall tag over a bit. Okay, so there's my horizontal. Now there's one more horizontal wall I need to do here. So again, faces to the center of this wall. And then the length of this wall. Okay, I need to do the length of that wall. Go from here to the, okay, these are both using faces for both. Alright, there you go. Now, for the demising wall, chances are for the demising wall, this one here, I'm going to label that, so I'm going to go, or dimension that, and I'll probably dimension that from faces and center, or faces to faces. So I'll probably go, let's say, from here to here, and I'll put it perhaps on the outside. Alright, so there you go, captured. Now obviously I should capture this one here if I need be. Okay, but let's say I just do that. So we need to capture the location of all your walls. Okay, and there you go. So that concludes what a partition plan should have. So in summary, you've got your new walls, your new doors. Okay, so again, let me show it to you here. Okay, in summary, this is what I put on your sheet. Checklist, new walls, new doors, wall tag, wall legend, door tag, door legend, door schedule, wall dimensions. Oh, one more, wall tag. Okay, or sorry, room tag. Okay, we need to tag all our rooms. Okay, and again, you know how to do that. Okay, I'll just do one. Okay, so go back to my partition plan. Okay, architecture, room. Okay, and then I could label, obviously that's not patio, that's just bedroom. Alright. Any questions on generating a partition plan and all its components? Alright, last drawing for today, a furniture, fixture, and equipment plan. Okay, so if you look at my checklist here, we're going to add furniture, fixtures, equipment. We're going to tag all the items. We're going to create a furniture legend, a furniture, fixture, and equipment schedule. Okay, so only a schedule on this one. Okay, so here we go. To do this, we need to duplicate our partition plan. So from now on, all the other drawings that are going to proceed are going to be all copies of your partition plan. Okay? So let's click onto our partition plan. Right click. Duplicate view. Duplicate. Again, I don't want with detail. I don't want to see those tags and everything else we had. There we go. Again, this is now, let's name it. This is called our furniture plan. furniture plan. All right, so now let's put in some furniture. Okay, and furniture obviously is components. Okay, so let's go to architecture, component, place a component, load family. Okay, go to your US Imperial folder, under furniture, and I'm going to start by putting in some beds, let's say. Okay, doesn't matter to me what bed you put in. Okay, maybe I'll put in a couple of these standard beds, one right here. Okay, maybe I'll use my space bar to rotate it, one there. Okay, so there's beds. Now I'll load family. Maybe I want to put in some sofas now. So again, under seating, put in some sofas here. Alright. Now I'm going to put in some tables, maybe a coffee table, so that's under furniture tables. Again, you decide what you want to put in there, not a big deal. Maybe I want to put in a desk. Now desks are already preloaded. Okay, so you can find a desk already preloaded. Okay, maybe I want to put a chair on that desk. Let's see, what else? Maybe a table for the, maybe I'll put a dining room table with chairs. There's a good one. Okay, I'll put in a dining room table with chair. Maybe I'll make it a bigger one. There we go. Okay, maybe I gotta start filling in the bathroom area now. Okay, so let's go ahead. Under component, place a component. Okay, this is gonna be under US Imperial. It's gonna be under plumbing. Architectural plumbing, fixtures. Start with water closets. Okay, put in a toilet. Put in a, where are my bathtub showers? I wonder where the bathtubs are. Oh, there you go, bathtubs. Let's see if this will fit. Perfect.
就是第一个我选改了纸，
Almost close.
改了纸，这第一个。行。
Alright, and then I'll put in sink, of course.
另外一个因为
对的。
Well, actually, we're gonna need to put in. We're gonna need to put the vanity in first. Okay, so it's all right. I'm not gonna put that all in. Saves us some time here. But remember, you'd have to put in You'd have to put in under casework. Okay, you'd have to put in the base cabinet, the vanity cabinet, something like that. Okay, I'd have to put something like that in first. Okay, then I'd have to put the counter and then the sink on top of that. Okay, so I'll just leave that. I won't put that all in. Okay, and then in the kitchen, I'd have to put in the stove, the fridge, okay, and so on in there as well. Okay, but you get the gist of it. Okay, so again, furniture, fixtures, and equipment should be placed into this drawer. Alright, next. Let's tag them, and then let's create a schedule of them. Okay? So we're going to do a tag all in this situation. Okay, so let's go to view. Annotate, tag all. Now, do you see a furniture tag in there? Okay, you'll notice there is not one in there. Okay, so we got to load in. There's hundreds of different tags that you could choose from. These are just all your basic ones, okay? If you need one that's specific, we need to load it in. So close this. Go under Insert. Click on Load Family. Go into your US Imperial folder, and the very first one is Annotations. And then go under Architectural. And you should see a furniture tag right here. Furniture tag. And you can see what it looks like. It's just a square. Okay? Furniture tag, load that in. Once it's loaded in, we can now go to Annotate, Tag All. And you should now see, there it is there, furniture tag. Click OK. There you go. You should see a square should appear on all your furniture. Okay, now you'll notice that we have to, like walls, we have to type these in. Okay, so I'll go here, pick the square, pick the check mark. Now, for these type of furniture, you simply identify them like B1 for bed, okay, C for chair, S for sofa, T for table. Okay, so B1 for this one. And again, it's going to ask you all the other ones that are the same. Do you want to label them the same? Yes. Okay, there's B1. Go into here. One of these chairs. This is going to be C1. Again, yes, all those will be labeled C1. There's another chair over here. This one will be C2. Okay, this sofa here, I'm going to call this one S1. This table, T1. This desk, we'll call that, I'm going to call that one T2. Okay. This table here will be T3. Now, you'll notice that your plumbing items are not tagged because it's not a piece of furniture. Okay, so we need to load in that particular tag type. Okay, so if I go to tag all, you'll notice that there is not one for those plumbing fixtures. Okay, so we need to load one in. Okay, so again, let's just do a quick save on our file. We've done quite a bit recently. Let's do a quick save for now. Alright, and then now let's go under Insert, Load Family. Okay, under Architecture, let's look. It should be, which one is it? I don't know if it's a specialty equipment tag. Let me just take a step back, see what other tags they have, see if there's any that are specific for plumbing. I don't see one. Okay, so I think it's the specialty equipment tag. Let's go ahead and put that in and see what happens. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I don't see any other ones that may relate to plumbing.
On the mechanical.
Sorry, mechanical.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. So it is under mechanical, under plumbing fixture tag. Alright, let's load that in. Alright, now that that tag is loaded, again, annotate, tag all. There's my plumbing fixture tag. Perfect. And then I don't know what you'd call bathtub. WC1. Okay, toilet. Okay, maybe WC1, water closet 1. Okay, and again, it's up to you. I mean, these are, there's not really set designations for them. Okay, these will obviously be in our schedule. Alright, let's create a schedule. Now, I'm going to show you something really unique that I like so much about schedules here. Let's go ahead and go into View, Schedules, Schedule. Okay, and we're doing a furniture schedule. You'll notice there are two schedules here. We're going to do one for furniture. Then there should also be another one here for plumbing fixtures. There's another schedule there. Okay, but anyways, let's start with furniture. Click OK. All right, now, here are the fields that we want. In the previous one, when we did a door schedule, we put mark. But for a furniture schedule, we have to put type mark. Okay, now here's the difference. Anytime you have these items, these tags, that you have to actually type in the information, it's called a type mark. Okay, if it fills in the information for you, that's called a mark. So in the doors, if you recall, when we did our door tags, it filled in the numbers for us. Now, obviously there were some that we had to change, okay, but majority of them, they were already pre-filled, okay? But with these ones, we had to type in our information. So those are called type marks. They're not marks. They're called type marks, okay? So now, click onto type mark. That'll be the first heading, okay? Then maybe the second heading, maybe I want count, the number of those items. The third heading, I want family and type. The fourth heading, maybe I want description. And lastly, the last heading, this is a really neat one, an image of it. Okay, I want an image. Alright. Now, remember that instance? I want to turn off that instance. So before I do it, go under sorting and grouping and turn off that item every instance. Itemize every instance. Because again, I don't want, look at chair 1. I don't want chair 1 showing 6 different times. Okay, so turn off that itemized item and sort it by type mark. Okay, so now click OK. There it is. Okay, now let me show you image. Let me show you image. I want you to minimize Revit. Okay, go online. Okay, and let's search for an image of, let's say, a bed. Okay, so let's go standard bed image. Okay, find an image. It doesn't matter to me what image you choose for a bed. Okay, pick one and download it. Okay, so let's say maybe this is the bed I'm going to use. Select it. Okay, right click on the image and save image as. Okay, so find any image you want. Okay, there you go. I'm going to put it in my week 6 folder. There you go. It's a JPEG file. Okay, I'll save that. Alright, so now I'm back in Revit and I choose that image. So there's my browse button. I'm going to click add. And I'm going to choose that bed image right there. Okay, so there it is. I think that's the same one I chose. Anyways, it must have saved it somewhere else. I must have overrode the old one. Alright, so now click OK. Okay, now, that image will not appear in here. It will appear when you drag it and drop it on your printable sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead now and create our printable sheet. So now let's create another sheet here. So let's go View, Sheet, D2234. Drag and drop your furniture plan. This is now my furniture plan. And then watch. Take your schedule now. We've got our furniture schedule right here. Drag and drop it. And then look, when you put it in, there's a picture of your bed. Yeah.
For some reason, when I drag in my furniture, the label's not coming.
Drawing label down here. Yeah, I don't want it to show.
For the furniture plan now? For the plan itself.
Oh, for this plan?
Yeah, for the plan itself.
Then maybe you're putting it under viewport with no label. Just make sure it's selected and make sure you're in viewport 1. Yeah. There you go. So you can see how I personally feel that Revit, when you're doing a set of working drawings, it's so much quicker, so much faster. I mean, to do this in AutoCAD, I'd probably be on the first one. I'd probably be on the as-built still. But anyways, okay. So, in summary, in conclusion for today, okay, here's your next step. Okay, you are to create the 4 drawings that we just did in our lecture. A1 as-built. Oh, I put some notes on here. Note, new structural columns should not appear in your as-built drawing. Okay, so remember that column that we put in? I want that column to be under new construction. Okay, new construction. By the way, that column should be the only thing that should appear structurally in your drawing, right? Because we are not doing this for our structural plans. Make sure you're not doing all of this work under structural plans. You're doing all of this work under your floor plans. So the only thing that we should see in terms of structure is that column, that new column that we put in. And again, that new column, I want you to select all those new columns and make sure they're under new construction, not under existing. Okay? These columns here are under existing. Okay? Next, then you have your demolition plan. And I wrote here, add some leaders with a few general notes, add a demolition legend. Decorative columns should also be removed. Okay, so the columns are to be removed. All interior items are also to be removed. Okay, so you'll notice here it says, this water closet is to remain. Okay, ignore that. Okay, we're getting rid of all those items as well. Everything in the interior, including those columns, are to be demolished. Okay. Also incorporate some notes like this. Patch and repair existing surfaces that are to remain and prepare for new finishes as needed. Okay, so things like that. Add some general notes to your dimension or demolition plan. Then, big one, the partition plan. And again, I showed you this checklist. New walls and doors. Remember, you should have a minimum of 3 wall types. Your exterior wall, the interior wall that, remember, has double gypsum wallboard on both sides, has a higher fire rating, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can see them here. Okay, those corridor walls, okay, need to be thicker, okay, than your other walls. Your demising wall, your corridor walls, your laundry wall, your reception area wall. All of those walls need to be thicker. Okay, your guest, inside your guest rooms, like for your closet or for your washroom walls, those could be the thinner walls. Okay, so you're gonna put in your walls and doors. You're gonna tag all your walls. You're gonna create a wall legend, door tag, door legend, door schedule, wall dimensions, and lastly your room tags. And then to finalize it for this particular step, okay, put in your furniture and fixtures and equipment, tag all the items, create a furniture, fixture, and equipment schedule. So you're gonna have 3 different schedules here. Okay, one for your furniture, one for your plumbing, and one for your equipment in your kitchenette area. Okay, so there should be 3 different schedules in this particular drawing. Any questions? Alright, so that is going to be step 3. Okay, that is due before the start of our next class. Okay, and please don't go crazy with the design. I am not grading the design. Okay, if you even wish to follow the design that I have here, by all means. Okay, I'm not looking for the design. I'm just looking to see that you can do the drawings that I want you to perform. Okay, don't worry. Don't spend a lot of time designing it thinking that that's what I'm looking at. Okay. Any questions? Yeah.
For the as-built, can you just repeat what you were saying about the columns that should be removing in the structure?
Yeah, so on the as-builts, okay, see this right here? You've created a rectangular 1 foot by 1 foot rectangular with half-inch drywall. Those columns are to be removed. So in your demolition plan, they should be all dashed. Okay? Now, but the new columns, those are the ones you put in last week in your structural, the new columns should only appear in the partition plan. They should not be in the as-built, they should not be in the demolition, they should be in the partition plan, which is the new construction phase.
That means,
Now also, I would highly recommend that you don't leave a beam uncovered, okay, in your plan, right? You can A, hide it in a wall, try to hide it in a wall, or B, you're gonna have to put some type of wall construction around your column, okay? Maybe just a typical interior wall that you wanna place around there, okay? You cannot just leave a column, bare. Okay? Any questions? Alright, rest of the time is yours. Putting in furniture in our furniture plan, it'll actually show up in our partition plan, okay, which we don't want it to show up in our partition plan. So, very simple, just go into your visibility graphics in your partition plan, okay, go under visibility graphics and turn off your furniture, okay, as well as your plumbing fixtures, okay, don't want to see those, okay, in my partition plan. Okay. Yes.
Why is that happening if we just did like a regular duplicate? Does that only happen when we do a duplicate?
Duplicates, it doesn't mean model items. Duplicate simply means that it's not going to show